Hello, everyone. I'm Sir Bilal Qureshi, and I'm a trainer for the AA, AAA, and the SBL exams of the ACCA qualification. And I'm making this video in this need of hour because you'll be taking your exams shortly. So with AA, SBL, and the AAA exam, they're all theoretical exams, theory-based exams that is less number crunching and more narrative answers that the examiners expect. So many students struggle in passing these exams, and there are recurrent failures. I'm making this video just to give you some top tips, some last-minute key tips to which you can follow, and by avoiding the pitfalls and by following the solutions that I'm proposing through this video, you're likely to improve your chances of passing the paper. So let's quickly move on to the issues. There are three key issues. The first one being that of time management. You must have heard of it again and again, but that happens because you overspend. For example, if a paper is divided into specific sections, you overspend on one section at the expense of the other section, and that leads to time management problems in the later half of the paper. So the solution to this is to adopt a writing style that is brief, that is crisp, that is to the point, so that you can get your marks, so that the answer has the required depth, but it avoids making irrelevant points that are not going to help you in earning many marks. And the other thing is to have a disciplined approach, to adopt a disciplined approach. You need to manage your time in such a manner whereby once the time for a particular question or a particular part question is over, you just put an end to that, leave that where it is, and move on to the next part of the question or to the other question, because you can always go back if you have time left towards the end. The idea is you've already earned many marks, or at least the marks that you were confident about early while answering that question. So there's no point in overspending time. The other issue is that of misreading requirements, not answering the requirements that, not answering the question that the examiner has actually set. And that happens because of exam pressure, because students are rushing. So that leads to time management problems for people, for students. So the idea is you can avoid them by copy pasting requirements in the answer script, so that you can always have a track of what exactly the examiner has asked for, and you can make sure while you're answering that you are actually answering the requirement that the examiner has set. For example, in the AAA exam, examiners are asking you about audit risks, and if you're writing about business risks, no matter how well articulated your businesses are, you're not going to get any mark for the simple reason that you're not answering the precise question that has been set for you. And last but not least, the hidden reason of failure. This is the, I always call this as the hidden reason of failure, and that is that many students, many candidates taking the theory-based exams, they produce answers that lack depth. They are relatively superficial. Superficial answer means they don't have enough scoring points. For example, if it's a 20-mark question and the examiner is expecting you to come up with like 8 to 10 discrete points, you have just 2, 3 points, and you're just expanding on them. So you're not going to get many marks. Plus, the other problem is producing answers that are out of context, that are not using the scenario. And another problem connected to this is when you are able to identify the relevant points from the scenario, but you're not developing them, you're not expanding on them. That's one of the key reasons why why candidates consistently underperform in the theory-based exams. They're just copy pasting the material from the scenario, thinking that they've done the job is not done. You have to explain why what you've copy pasted from the scenario is relevant to that particular situation or in answering that question. So the solution is use the scenario, develop application skills, use the scenario, link different pieces of information in the scenario. For example, you need to establish a correlation between financial, non-financial numbers and the narrative information. So for example, if you're told in the question that the company is struggling to pay suppliers on time, payable days you should see an increase in payable days, for example. So it is important that you're able to establish a correlation, a connection between financial, non-financial, and the narrative information, and that's going to improve the depth of your answer, the quality of your answer. And last but not least, you need to consider the implications in a specific manner. So, for example, in an audit risk question, if you're just saying the risk is that a particular IFRS may not have been complied with, is a poor explanation and is not going to get any marks, as opposed to an explanation where you say provisions may be understated and the related expense may be understated. Now, because you are considering the implications in a precise manner that would add to the depth of your answer, that's going to be on point, on spot, and that would mean your answer would not appear superficial to the examiner. So these are the key top tips that I would strongly recommend you should follow. And I'm very hopeful that you would ace your exams in this manner. Take good care. Bye.